Good evening, everyone. Here is Aaron Tasha Mashlipa, or known as New Generation Speaker, ATM, joined by the great young, energetic youth who is no other than Kelvin Mambwe, who is well known as philosopher. Okay, Mr. Kelvin, welcome to
Thank,
this.
thank you very much, Mr. Aaron.
Yes. So, Mr. Kelvin, welcome to this edition. We're going to talk about your life and the things that you've achieved. I saw your post on social media. You posted something like about how you got a job and then the steps that you've been doing in your life. Would you kindly tell us about your life? Who is Kelvin? Who is Mr. Philosopher?
All right, thank you. This is how I started my venture. I should say my venture, my endeavor, stuff like that. The Kelvin, just started like way back 2014. Like I should say 2014. Yeah, I used to be a bit interested when it comes to calculations and the like. That's special by the family and the like, where of course some of us come from such a background where of course you have to provide and everything. So, yeah.
Right.
So what happened was that, or what has been happening is that I've just believed myself, where I feel like if I don't do it,
No one will do it.
yeah, sure.
Of course. Okay.
So I started like just teaching mathematics. I've been teaching since 2014 when I was just in grade 10.
Okay.
So that one, like I never knew that was going to help me in my life. Well, when I went to college 2018, 19, so
Yes, sir.
I still continued doing that. And I've always been talking about that, whereby I would create a post on Facebook, just like you saw one of my posts. Yes, so I would create a post on Facebook just to encourage people, like students, even those who are working, even the people who are actually not working because they haven't yet identified their talent, and also how to identify the talent.
Okay.
So this thing, when I was at college, I joined a certain guy, a friend of mine, a childhood friend.
Okay.
So he was doing a certain business. So I had to join that guy because I never knew how to order things online, how to supply and everything. So that guy taught me how to order things from China and also distribute across Africa. Yes, so I've learned a lot of things where international trade is involved and also the supply and distribution is involved. So after, when I joined that guy, I never had anything like, let's say, capital, stuff like that. I never had. I only managed to acquire the skills on how to order and everything. I can't say I didn't have capital, because capital is not only in form of monetary form of value.
Okay.
How much you have 2,000. No, I started this business with 2,000. No, I started with 50,000, whatever, so I should say I started the business with my phone, because a phone is actually, capital is also equals to how much assets you have.
Okay.
So since I had the phone, I can say I started the business with the phone.
Okay.
But the business didn't succeed at some workers and everything. That's way back 2021. The business never succeeded. We ran into problems. We even accumulated a lot of costs and everything. So the only thing which I decided to do was just to close it.
Okay.
So I closed the business.
Okay. So what transpired you to close the business?
What happened was that just like I've said, we ran into business as far as costs, and also those costs were like I was not in the capacity, like to solve those costs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So now, how viewers would like to know how you found like a new job. That is last year. You said last year, something like that. And then how did you manage doing school as well as helping out students, helping out those in uni, schools. How did you manage?
Okay, so basically, what happened was that I got a job from this international company called Verodin Services Limited. It's based in UK.
Okay.
So how I got that job, one of the guys I used to teach from University of Zambia just recommended me to this company.
Okay.
So they called me, and there was more like they scheduled interview. Like it was going to be held online. So they sent the link and everything. So I attended the interview online. I wasn't the only person who was being interviewed. We are more than I think 20. But you know, whenever you're in a state of doing the interviews, you just be confident because I never did like at that time. I never did accounts
Okay.
that time when I started working for this company. So what happened was that they questioned me like during the interview. Most of the questions which I received from those people like interviewers were outside what I knew. But you know that's the job I had been teaching accounts and also had been teaching mathematics. I was still able to just feel confident that I could actually do it. So I answered most of the questions, but some questions I do remember that I failed. But you know, interview questions they just look at how confident you are.
Okay.
It's not everything. They can ask you even something which is not even relevant to the position which you'll be doing.
Yes.
You know, some of the things which we learn. Let's say you are doing human resource management.
Yes. Sir.
You'll be exposed to, let's say, accounting.
Yes.
In human resource, there's no accounting. But why? The reason why they do that is because should there be a situation whereby you are in a board meeting or in a staff meeting, then someone from accounts is presenting the data, the findings, you're not going to be blank. You'll still be able to get something. So that's why. So even when you go to interviews, they are going to ask you about, let's say, accounting. No, what do you understand by the bank statement? What are the steps in doing the paid cash reconciliation and the like? Yeah, sure. So they asked me a lot of questions, but I still managed. So what happened was that I worked there for like 5 months because it was just a short-term employment.
Yes.
After that job, I was just in the society. Of course, that was last year from September to somewhere November, December, so somewhere. But during that same period, I also managed to open a car wash.
Okay.
So this car wash which I opened was somewhere in Obama, somewhere Chris Moore, Obama, Mulanga, somewhere that side. So the car wash had about 3 employees there. Yeah, I'd employed 3 people there, but you know how much I used to make and how much I used to pay for rent, there was more like a big gap. So I just decided to close it. But you know, that one also, like since I've got all the equipment, okay, you know, just so I'm still in the process.
Okay.
Like,
So thank you, sir. Thank you for that. Okay, you talked about another thing that you talked about is about those who are graduating. Would you kindly share something about an encouragement on how they're going to, I know they'll be confining themselves in an environment where different activities are happening. Would you kindly encourage one or two things about those graduating, looking for employment, looking for everything? They say that in Zambia there are few job opportunities. People, they've got that mindset of saying no, I will not find jobs. They've already given somebody else. Would you kindly encourage somebody who is looking for a job?
Sure.
Or who will be looking for a job?
So personally, I do believe that the reason why we go to school is not only so that we can start looking for employment.
Okay.
Like, I've always been asking myself, like, why can't we go to school so that we can become entrepreneurs? Becoming an entrepreneur, doesn't really mean that everyone can be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Because being an entrepreneur, of course, you're supposed to be a risk taker. It's not everyone who's, of course, able to take the risk. No. So, the only thing which I would say, or I would encourage someone like who's just about to graduate, or they have graduated or stuff like that, or before they graduate, of course, if let's say before I graduate, there's a lot of business ventures you can actually venture into. Let's say you are a student at, let's say, Unilas. There's a lot of students there. If you are a lady and you are interested into plaiting, supplying hair products and the like, those hair products, they are very, very much expensive. Just a wig, you find that your girlfriend is saying, I want this wig. Check the price. The price tag is saying 2,500. But when you look at how much the total cost of that same wig, buying those, let's say, Doremi or okay, I'm not so familiar with
Okay, yeah,
the hair
sure.
products.
Okay.
Of course. So if you find that those the same Doremi and those everything, they are just costing about less than maybe 500 kwacha. But because in Zambia most of the prices, they are more like, I wouldn't say they are overpriced or stuff like that, but I would say they're just more like, it all depends on where you are. Of course, in Zambia, things are very much expensive. So someone would say, would maybe triple the cost, the total cost. So they'll put that price, the price of the wig would be 1,500.
Okay, that's accounts principles, eh? Okay. So like okay, you've talked about somebody venturing into something which is something to do with entrepreneurship, and then okay, so there is something which like most of youths, they want something like maybe jobs, yes, even entrepreneurship. There are some people who are good at like you've said. It's not only that everybody can do, they can venture into something like entrepreneurship. Not only that. So, what would you encourage somebody out there? Because they say, at first, you may be thinking that you'll be getting paid more than maybe, for example, a 5,000. Because I remember when I was in campus last year, I was thinking maybe I'll find a job somewhere like maybe 5,000, and so that mindset. As you've got that mindset of saying I want to begin with an employment which will begin with maybe 5,000, and then I will be doing this and that. Now, what would you encourage somebody out there on how, like, something to do with, if at all there is a price tag, maybe an amount which is less to their expectation? Would you kindly share more, like, how much did you begin, okay, in short, how much did you begin with, like, when you started a job? I remember you talked about, in the post you talked about Zamtel. You worked at Zamtel. How much were you getting paid? Because that's where maybe we can get it.
It's a bit, it's laughable actually,
Okay.
when Zamtel, okay, Zamtel, when I used to work for Zamtel, I only used to get paid about 250 kwacha.
Okay.
But anyway, right now when I think about how I used to survive and the like.
Okay, which position is that?
I used to work as a marketing assistant.
Okay.
Or marketing office, of course, because we used to also doing the direct sales agents, more like direct sales distribution in the communities. Of course, we used to move from one district to another, just selling the SIM cards, Zamtel phones, or should I just put it like Zamtel products?
So talking about the same job, and then there are other jobs which I feel like a stepping stone. Yes, that was your stepping stone, and then there are other youths out there who be finishing, who be finishing, and then they would like to to test on how it feels to start a job. We've grown up in an environment where, like, get this job, do this, do that. They've done nursing. What would you say about that? If at all they've done nursing, would they just wait for them to do that nursing to come to their table, or maybe what would you?
Okay.
What's your recommendation on that?
So basically, there are some there are some instances whereby a certain company is looking for someone, but they're not going to advertise. What I used to do was that sometimes I could just go like to companies whereby I just visit the certain company, then just to tell them what I can offer for should there be a situation whereby they give me and more like a go ahead or stuff. So and also sometimes you may also go to this company, just tell them like, okay, this is what I can offer if maybe you're going to you were to give me this position. So basically, some other time you can also reach out to a, let's say, hospital if you have done, let's say, nursing or any healthy program or profession, of course. It's not always that when you finish college, you start getting paid like the amount of money which you have been thinking, 10,000, 15,000, something like stuff. Sometimes, there's no company which will, of course, will employ someone who's got, let's say, a master's degree over someone who's got a diploma, and the person who's got a diploma has got actually working experience of, let's say, 4 years or 5 years or 2 years. Because these companies, what they do is that they don't want to start teaching you the job. They just want someone, they show, okay, this is your office. You just go direct to your office and start working. And like, you start asking, so what am I supposed to do with this software? What am I supposed to do with that, like that? Yeah. So, I've worked in so many companies whereby, if I think about how much I used to get paid, it doesn't even up my standard, of course. It was just less, getting paid for 20, 850, 1,005, just like that. But when you look at the living standard in Lusaka, it's too expensive. Just renting a house, we find that maybe you're paying 1,000 kwash or maybe 1,200 or just something else. And also you have to look at, let's say, where you're coming from. Of course, you have parents, you've got people like kids, like siblings. Of course, all those people, you're supposed to give them something. Every month you're supposed to be sending something. So, I've always been asking myself, if I say on to this offer,
okay,
this offer which is saying 1,500 as my monthly pay, is there anyone who's going to be giving me 1,500? Then I'll be like, if there's no one who's going to be giving me 1,500 every month, then I've got no option. I've got no any other option. But of course, to go ahead and sign a contract, knowing well that I'm not only getting that benefit, which is less my standard, I'm also getting the experience. I'm also acquiring the experience, because I've worked so far in just in accounts. I've worked in accounts for close to 2 years.
Okay.
Procurement, which is my profession, of course, I've only worked there for procurement more than 2 years, of course. But also right now, even accounts. So meaning, should there be a situation whereby there's a position which we wish they, let's say they advertise, let's say in procurement, I'll be able to apply for that position. And if maybe my qualification and also business background and everything match the expectations of that employer, of course, maybe I'll be given a better position, but even better than the position which I have right now. So someone, maybe they go into the societal stuff, it's very much important for them to associate with people who have done a similar thing.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Just like the Bible says, bad associations spoil useful habits.
Yes.
So, in a situation whereby you just, go in the society, then start associating with maybe people who do smoke, who do stuff like that, just bad things.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, even you end up like doing very bad things. Of course, sometimes you get to feel like, no, peer pressure cannot tempt me or cannot do this and that. Yeah, I've also been in such situation whereby I remember when I was in grade 9, I was tempted to smoke. That situation whereby we had gone somewhere like these guys. They offered me like weed to smoke. I refused, but that didn't spoil like our friendship never ended. Yes. Because those were the only guys which I had.
In fact, even them would, I guess in their minds were like, I think these things Kelvin doesn't like.
Sure.
Because That's the way it is. So, Mr. Kelvin, thank you so much. I know you've tackled about entrepreneurship as well as jobs, like people, jobs. You've encouraged about everything, and I feel it was amazing having you on this program. I wish we're gonna have you again. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, and we shall all.